Hello, my dear students. Today we will look at the third story from your book Moments. It's called Iswaran the Storyteller. Okay, we'll look at Iswaran the Storyteller. So, Iswaran is a name of a character, one of the important characters in the story, and his name is Iswaran. Okay, so here we've been given a little bit of introduction to what the story, what we can look forward to. So it says, one night Mahendra woke up from his sleep and saw a dark, cloudy form. He broke out into a cold sweat. Was it a ghost? Okay, so here when we look at the word cold sweat, it simply means you actually start sweating. Okay, but here that sweat is not because you've ran or you've done some exercise or it's too hot, but it's just the sweat is really cold. And this generally happens when we are very afraid. If you see something all of a sudden केही देख्नुहुन्छ तपाईँले अनि तपाईँलाई एकदम चिसो भएर आउँछ है, so that is cold sweat. So was it a ghost? So we'll read further in the story and find out what it is all about. Okay, I am excited. I hope you too are. So here in the beginning, we are told that the story is narrated to Ganesh, who is a young man, by Mahendra. Okay, so now we'll learn a little bit in this first paragraph about some of the characters, and here mainly we'll learn about Mahendra. So Mahendra here, he is a junior supervisor in a firm. So basically his job is to supervise different types of work, mainly construction sites. Any kind of work that's happening in the construction area, he has to supervise it, and he is the junior supervisor. हामीले नेपालीमा भन्नु हो भने जस्तो कि मान्छेहरूले इन्जिनियर कन्ट्र्याक्टरहरूले बैदार लगाउँछ है, सो दिस बैदारको काम चाहिँ के हो, सबै देखरेख गर्नु हो नि. सो वी क्यान से समथिङ लाइक द्याट. ओके, नाउ हिज जब रिक्वायर्ड हिम to move from place to place. Okay, so कोही बेला एउटा ठाउँमा construction, let's say they are building a bridge somewhere in a remote place. Once it's done, they have to move to another town and maybe in another village, like that. So उसको कामले गर्दा चाहिँ he has to keep moving from one place to another. Okay, in second paragraph, now it gives us more description about who Mahendra is. Okay, so what he is. So Mahendra, we are told, is a bachelor. That means he is a man and he's not married yet. Okay, he's not married, he doesn't have a wife, no children. Okay, so because he's a bachelor, we are told that his needs are very simple. Okay, and one of his quality is that he can adjust himself to all kinds of odd situations. So उसलाई जस्तै ठाउँमा जुनै पनि अवस्थामा राख्यो भने he is able to adjust with people, with place. कोही गरम ठाउँमा पनि he is able to adjust, चिसो ठाउँमा पनि he is able to adjust, remote villageमा पनि he is fine, town cityमा पनि he is fine. So he has no problem adjusting. So that is a quality that he acquires. Okay, he has. Okay, and so now we are told that there is something asset, but one asset he had. Okay, so he had an asset. Okay, अब हामीले जब asset भन्छ, you must have heard this word many a times, somebody complimenting, saying, oh, she is an asset to my firm or to my school, or he's an asset भनेर कतिखेप टिचरहरूले भन्नुहुन्छ होला. So asset भन्दा चाहिँ basically it's anything. It can be a person, it can be thing, जे पनि या जो पनि, and जसको चाहिँ भ्याल्यु छ, जसले गर्दा चाहिँ तिमीलाई धेरै मद्दत हुन्छ, you feel confident because of that person, that is asset भन्दाखेरि चाहिँ यस्तो हुन्छ. So if I say you are an asset to me भनेपछि त्यो मान्छेकोमा I trust that person, I have confidence in that person, that person is very valuable to me, एकदमै काम लाग्ने एकदमै राम्रो मान्छे भनेर चाहिँ त्यसरी हामी लिन सक्छौँ. Okay, so उसको asset चाहिँ को थियो रहेछ? Who was Mahendra's asset? It was his cook. Okay, so there was this person who was to cook for him. Okay, and his name was Iswaran. Okay, so that's why Iswaran, the story itself is named after this cook, and we are told Iswaran the storyteller. So I'm already excited what all stories he will tell us. Okay, so yeah, then after that we are told that he was such a fine guy. Now we'll come to know why he's an asset. Okay, now of course we know that he was a cook, but he cooked, not only cooked, but he even washed clothes for Mahendra. And another very importantly, he chatted away with his master at night. So probably he'll have to travel from move from one place to another, and maybe they are in a situation where there is no any form of entertainment. मान्छेहरू कोही छैन होला, remote ठाउँमा he and Ishwaran only. And imagine if in a situation like that you have another partner who just doesn't talk, ढुस्सै पढेको मान्छे छ भने how will you feel, right? But imagine you have somebody who is really full of life and who is full of funny jokes, जहिले पनि joke crack गरिरहेको, कथाहरू अचम्म अचम्म सुनाइरहेको. How fun it would be to have a partner, a friend like that, होइन, in such a place. So even I would have loved to have somebody as as Ishwaran, who not only knew how to cook, but also washed clothes and above all chatted away. And what did he chat about? He had this talent to weave out endless stories. यति इन्ट्रेस्टिङ उसले कथा बनाउनु सक्थ्यो अरे, ओके, एन्ड एनेक्डोट्स अन भेरिड सब्जेक्ट्स. एन्ड ही वाज नट ओन्ली अन वान सब्जेक्ट, कुनै एउटा टपिकमा मात्रै होइन, बट ही ह्याड एकदमै वर्सटाइल खालको मान्छे, जुनै कुरामा पनि बोल्नु सक्ने. ओके, सो एनेक्डोट्स, यहाँनिर दिस इज प्रब्लली अ न्यू वर्ड अर मेबी नट. सो एनेक्डोट्स भन्दा चाहिँ वाट वी अन्डरस्ट्यान्ड इज it's basically any kind of not a long story, but a sano choto katha jastai, but of course it has to be something related to a real person or a real incident. Okay, अनि जसमा चाहिँ कि त त्यो एकदमै इन्ट्रेस्टिङ हुनु पर्यो कि एकदम फनी हुनु पर्यो. ओके, सो त्यस्तो एनेक्डोट. सो this guy Ishwaran was full of such anecdotes. He had so much accumulated, so much of information and interesting and funny stories and ideas from from maybe his experiences in life. All right, so then in the next paragraph we are told a little more about Ishwaran and his quality, what all, right? So this guy, okay, he cooked, he washed clothes, he could weave out endless stories. Apart from that, he had this amazing capacity, okay, to produce vegetables and cook and cooking ingredients. So basically, yeah, what it's trying to say is that sometimes their work, Mahendra's work, would require him to go to such places which would be absolutely desolate. Okay, केही desolate, केही नभएको. Okay, एकदमै deserted, कोही मान्छे छैन, दोकान केही नजिकतिर केही छैन, एकदमै remote ठाउँतिर पनि sometimes you would have to work there. And in such cases, where will you get your vegetables from? What will you do? So this guy Ishwaran, he could produce vegetables and any cooking ingredients, and it's seemingly out of nowhere. Okay, so it didn't bother him. जहाँ पनि होस्, he could, if he had to, he could produce. Okay, so probably उसलाई त्यो खेतीबारीको अलिक जानेको रहेछ, उसले है जानेको रहेछ, यस्तो रोप्दा यो सिजनमा यो रोप्दा यस्तो हुन्छ यस्तो हुन्छ. So basically, so he was an asset, you see. And apart from that, रोप्नु त भयो है, apart from that, cook पनि कस्तो cook थियो अरे, he could conjure up the most delicious dishes भनेर भनेको छ. Okay, and यहाँनिर भने चाहिँ miraculously conjure up. So it is he could create, conjure up भन्दाखेरि चाहिँ हामीले we can look at it as केही बनाउनु सक्नु, क्रिएट गर्नु सक्नु. ओके, एन्ड लाइक मिराक्युलसली भनेको छ. सो कन्ज्योर अप भन्दाखेरि it involves some magical or miraculous experience नै. ओके, सो एकदमै अचम्मै प्रकारले उसले यति साह्रो डिलिसियस डिसेसहरू पनि उसले तयार गर्न सक्थ्यो भनेर. अगेन नो वन्डर ही इज एन asset. Okay, so again now यहाँनिर in your next paragraph, fourth paragraph, we are told about Mahendra, his sort of like what he उसको दिन मतलब उसको daily routine जस्तै है. So and about Ishwaran's daily routine. So we are told that he would wake up early in the morning, and then after his breakfast he used to leave for work. Okay, and when he went to work, he would carry some kind of tiffin for lunch. Okay, and of course which was prepared by Ishwaran. Okay, and so once his master is gone, what would Ishwaran do? Okay, so a master गएपछि ब्रेकफास्टहरू बनाइसकेको हुन्छ उसले बिहान. After that he would tidy up the shed, wash clothes and have a leisurely bath. है, अब उसको सबै काम सक्यो, बिहान मास्टरलाई ब्रेकफास्ट दिएर लन्च बनाएर पठाइसक्यो है, घरहरू सबै साफ सुग्घर गरिसक्यो, एभ्रिथिङ इज वास्ड एन्ड क्लिन. सो वाट नेक्स्ट? सो उसको केही छैन, एकदम फुर्सदमा छ है ऊ। अनि सो एकदमै लेजरली बाथ, taking plenty of time, मजाले आरामले used to take bath. And his way of taking bath was he would pour several buckets of water over his head. Bucket pani khanako. And as he poured water over his head, he would also mutter prayer भनेर भनेको छ। जुन के हो अब मुखले चाहिँ प्रार्थना गर्दै प्रेयर गर्दै है, एन्ड प्रब्ली यु वुड चान्ट सम मन्त्र एन्ड अल, एन्ड यु वुड जस्ट किप पोरिङ बकेट्स एन्ड बकेट्स अफ वाटर ओभर हिज हेड। ओके, एन्ड बाई देन त्यो नुहाइसकेर आउँदा उसको लन्च टाइम हुन्छ। हि इट्स हिज लन्च, आफ्टर इटिङ हिज लन्च नाइसली हि रिड्स अ बुक, बट बुक पढ्दै पढ्दै देन वाट ह्यापन्स, हि डोजेज अफ, एकदमै झप निन्द्राले उसलाई बेर्छ, एन्ड देन प्रब्ली टेक्स हिज आफ्टरनुन nap. Okay, and here we are told about what kind of a book does he read. So we are told that he reads some popular Tamil thriller, Tamilnaduko Tamil language ma लेखेको थ्रिलर्सहरू चाहिँ उसले पढ्ने गर्थ्यो रहेछ, एन्ड प्रब्ली दे युज्ड टु बी लाइक बिग बुक्स द्याट हि वुड रिड। एन्ड यस्तो हुन्छ अरे त्यो बुक चाहिँ थ्रिलर। अब थ्रिलर भन्ने बित्तिकै आई डोन्ट नो इफ यु हाउ मेनी अफ यु रेड इट, बट प्रब्ली यु वाच सर्टन सम मुभिज अल्सो, जहाँनिर चाहिँ अब maybe there is a girl is at home alone, and there is some murderer who has come, and then that whole imagine गर्नुस् न कस्तो हुन्छ है, and where she hides and how he tries to chase, अनि कस्तो खालको हुन्छ, सस्पेन्स खालको टाइपको होइन, सो समथिङ अफ द्याट सर्ट। सो यस्तो थ्रिलर टाइपको उसले चाहिँ कथाहरू पढ्ने गर्थ्यो रहेछ, एन्ड त्यो बुक्सको द काइन्ड अफ इमेजिनेटिभ डिस्क्रिप्सन्स एन्ड अल विच इज इन द बुक, यसले चाहिँ इट वुड होल्ड ईश्वरन इन थ्रल भनेको छ। द्याट मिन्स चाहिँ एकदमै क्याप्टिभ बनाइदिन्थ्यो क्या हो ईश्वरनलाई, एकदमै इट वुड, त्यो कथाले चाहिँ उसलाई एकदमै जक्रिदिन्छ है। एन्ड सो इट्स लाइक युभ बिकम लाइक नाउ यु आर अन्डर द पावर अर अन्डर द स्पेल अफ द्याट स्टोरी, यति साह्रो। सो द्याट मिन्स he would just keep on reading and reading and reading, because generally if you read a thriller, that's how you feel, you want to go to the next page and next page and next page, and you don't even know kaile chai katha sakyo. All right, so something of that sort. And so this is how he passed his time. Now next what we see is that त्यो अब सो यो यस्तो खालको बुक्स पढ्नले गर्दा what kind of influence it has had on Iswaran, right? So यहाँ भनेको चाहिँ his own descriptions were greatly influenced by Tamil authors that he read. So जस्तो खालकोले बुक्स पढ्थ्यो, सस्पेन्स थ्रिलर है, त्यस्तै खालको उसको आफ्नै कथा भन्दाखेरि उसको आफ्नै डिस्क्रिप्सन्समा पनि हि वाज ग्रेटली इन्फ्लुएन्स, अनि त्यही खालको पाराले उसले बोल्ने गर्थ्यो। र सानो कुरालाई पनि लाइक द स्मलेस्ट अफ इन्सिडेन्ट्स, इट वुड नट बी स्मल फर हिम, हि वुड क्रिएट सम काइन्ड अफ नरेसन जहाँनिर एकदमै सस्पेन्स सरप्राइज गरेर हि वुड सेयर। ओके, एन्ड हियर देव गिभन एन एक्जाम्पल जहाँनिर चाहिँ वान डे वाट हिज टोल्ड इज बेसिकली देयर इज जस्ट अ ट्री विच ह्याड बिन अपरुटेड अन द हाइवे। सो एउटा हाइवेमा रुख लडेको छ, that is it. Okay, but Iswaran, how would he describe it? Iswaran would, usko facial expression पनि एकदमै ड्रामेटिक जेस्चर है, आइब्रोजहरू एकदम ट्विक माथि गरेको होइन, अनि so his facial expression and his gestures would only first त्यसले काम गरिहाल्थ्यो, नेक्स्ट उसको ल्याङ्ग्वेज है। सो इन्स्टेड अफ जस्ट सेइङ म जान्दै थिएँ कि हाइवेमा द ट्री ह्याड फलन, he wouldn't say that, something like that, so simply as that. But instead he would create a story, and he would say something like, the road was deserted and I was all alone. Suddenly I spotted something that looked like an enormous bushy beast lying sprawled across the road. I was half inclined to turn and go back, but as I came closer I saw that it was a fallen tree with its dry branches spread out. भन्दै यस्तो पाराले उसको कथा गएर सिम्पल कुरालाई यस्तो ड्रामेटिक पाराले उसले भन्ने गर्थ्यो रहेछ, एन्ड डेफिनेटली महेन्द्र वुड एन्जोय इट एन्ड वुड लिसन टु ईश्वरन्स टेल्स अनक्रिटिकली एकदमै है। सो अहिलेको लागि विल किप द लेसन ओभर हियर, and I would expect you all to read this part. Anything that you don't understand, please let me know, and be prepared for what's coming next.